What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with some Destiny and kind of a different little video that we're working on today. This is actually, thought I would do an interesting video. This is actually going to be my top 5 personal favorite primary weapons in Destiny. Now these are by any means are not the best 5 weapons in Destiny, so disclaimer there. These are just the 5 weapons I use the most, or use a lot, and really enjoy using. Like the looks of, just for a varying amount of reasons, I really enjoy using these weapons. So we're going to start off at number 5 and work our way up to number 1. And at number 5 on my list is a pulse rifle, the Stranger's Rifle. Yes, the level 16 rare weapon that everybody seems to discount that you get at the end of the campaign. It's really not used a whole lot in the game. Obviously, you're finishing the campaign normally around level 20, and it's a level 16 rare weapon, and not too many people use it. But as you can see here, it's a very effective pulse rifle. It looks really cool, and it's got a really neat kind of burst from it. Reason I like this weapon is it's one of the few futuristic weapons in Destiny, which is something that drives me a little crazy about this game. Is it's supposed to be set, centuries and however much time further in the future, and yet we're still using mostly conventional weapons. There's not a whole lot of futuristic weapons in the game. So that's one of the reasons I really like this pulse rifle. It just looks really awesome. The second reason is it has a really solid setup of perks. You can use this, if you're just doing patrols, even when you're like level 30. It's got a really solid set of perks on it. It's got some great ballistic options, and it's got fully automatic, which is really a really solid pulse rifle perk. You've got speed reload. This has got one of the highest reloads of any pulse rifle. You can get a little bit of extra range and then a little bit of extra stability to really make this thing very good. And then you got rewind. Missing a shot has a chance to return ammo directly to the magazine. Not a great perk, but with this middle perk tree here in full auto, you really don't need to worry about that. And the other reason I really love this weapon is this thing is an absolute beast in the Crucible. After the pulse rifle buff that gave them a little bit more damage, it really made the Stranger's Rifle pretty amazing in PvP, because obviously in the Crucible you have normalized damage, so attack power does not matter. And when you compare this to the rest of the pulse rifles in terms of handling, it may not have the highest impact, but it has a really solid rate of fire. Its range and stability make it really easy to get headshots, and you've got that full automatic perk. This thing just takes people down really, really quick. In my opinion, it is just as good as Red Death in 3 little words. A little bit of a different statistic, readout on it, but it will hold its own against those, even against some of the exotics in the Crucible. So those are the main reasons I really love the Stranger's Rifle. Just overall, it's a really great weapon. I really wish Bungie would show this weapon a little bit of love. Let us bring it up to like a legendary level at least, or give us some kind of way to get an exotic version of it. It's one of the cooler weapons in the game, and unfortunately does not get a lot of attention or a lot of love, considering you get it as a level 20 kind of reward and you finish the campaign and it's only a 215 attack weapon. So anyways, guys, moving on. Alright guys, coming in at number 4 is my one of my favorite auto rifles that I really like to use in this game quite a bit, and that is the Vanquisher 8. Now this is a weapon you can acquire from the New Monarchy faction. In the tower, it's one of my favorite weapons that they offer. It's actually probably the best weapon that they offer, just given the perk setup that it comes with. A lot of reasons I really do like this weapon. The main thing is it's kind of one of those old school auto rifles from before the Dark Below that came out, and it really has a very solid feel to it overall. It handles very well. It's got some very good perks, and it looks really cool. That's another thing too. So really great looking weapon. It reminds me a lot of my old Shadow Price, which I had when the game first came out, which is one of those lower rate of fire, higher impact auto rifles, which those were the ones that we had before the Dark Below. Of course, when the Dark Below came out, we've got those very high rate of fire, very minuscule impact auto rifles that came out. They're not very good. No one really likes them, even though they can be pretty decent in PvP at times, but overall, they're really pretty poor weapon choice in the game now. But the Vanquisher, like I said, it's kind of that throwback to those old school auto rifles, and reminds me a lot of that Shadow Price, like I said, the one that I dismantled like an idiot, which I really wish I had now that House of Wolves is coming out because they've got the ability now to bring your old legendaries up to that new 365 attack rating. It'd be really nice to still have that shadow price, but the Vanquisher is going to have to do. But this is just a great looking weapon. Like I said, performs very well, has a really cool paint job, and I just love how the perks on this thing just seem to go so well with it. Now you only have a 22 round magazine, and this is the vendor version that I like here. Spray and play increases the reload speed when the weapon is empty, which really helps with that smaller magazine. You've got fitted stock, which really boosts your stability, and then you've got glass half full. The bottom half of each magazine gives you more damage, so that kind of goes hand in hand with spray and play. Really encourages you to empty the magazine every time you use this weapon. So that's the Vanquisher 8. That is my number 4 on my list of my top 5 favorite primary weapons. Alright guys, coming in at number 3 on my list, you knew we were going to have some hand cannons here because I absolutely love hand cannons. And coming in at number 3 on the list is going to be Timer's Lash. Timer's Lash is a legendary hand cannon you can only get in the Iron Banner PvP event. They've sold it a few times, it's been a drop a couple of other times. But overall, this is one of my favorite hand cannons. It's one of the slower firing hand cannons that hits like an absolute truck. You need to be very accurate with this weapon to make it effective, and I love the skill that's required to use hand cannons. They're just a big favorite of mine in this game, and I really do like Timer's Lash. I think it looks cool. I think it's a very good weapon overall. Mainly, actually, more so for PvP, because it can, you can do 2 to 3 hit kills with this weapon if you're if you're a good player, a very accurate player. But it can come in handy for PvE as well. The perks you get on it normally don't really bode that well for PvE, especially because you've only got a 7-round magazine, as you can see with mine here. So that does limit this hand cannon a little bit. I like to have the 13-round Field Scout hand cannons if we're talking about doing just a normal game. But in the Crucible, this thing really does pretty well, obviously because it has such high impact. Now again, I said it's a pretty cool looking weapon, and I'll take a look at the one I have here. The cool thing about Timer's Lash is you can re-roll this when the Iron Banner comes around, so you can re-roll it until you get the perks that you want on it. Now on mine, I got Return to Sender, kills with the weapon grant bonus ammo directly to the magazine. Armor piercing rounds, this adds just a tad bit more impact on it. Snapshot, aiming a little bit faster, and then I've also got explosive rounds on this, which are mainly a PvE perk. They don't really, they can stagger a little bit in PvP, but overall I find it much better to use armor piercing rounds. And then this has Third Eye, which is a great PvP perk, which always gives you the radar while you are aiming down sights. That can really give you a little bit of an advantage when you're trying to set up encounters in your favor, know where everyone's coming from, and you've got the jump on them when you're ADSing. But overall, that is Timer's Lash, or Timer's Lash, however it's said. I say it Timers, I don't know why. But overall, very solid hand cannon. Definitely worth grinding through Iron Banner to pick up one of these if you can. One of my favorite weapons, and I've talked about this weapon in great length. I've done a review on it too, so just one of my favorites. You guys know I love hand cannons. I'm always talking about them, so this is one of my favorite hand cannons, and number 3 on my top 5 favorite primary weapons in Destiny. Alright guys, we are getting towards the top of the list here. Coming in at number 2 on my top 5 favorite weapons in Destiny is the exotic scout rifle, the Mida multi-tool. This is an excellent weapon I've found, especially if you're an accurate player. It's a lot of fun to use, and just doesn't seem to have the best perk set in the world for an exotic, but I don't know what it is about this gun. It just performs so well for me. I just really enjoy using it. It's very well rounded, handles beautifully. It gives you a lot of, you've got a lot of short range punch, and you can also extend to a longer range with this weapon as well, since it is a scout rifle. Just overall, very good weapon to use. A very weapon I'm very comfortable using in both PvE and PvP. Even though it's a lower, it seems to be a lower impact fire lower impact fire faster rate of fire. There we go. Scout rifle, it seems to take people down really quickly, and you also have Field Scout on it. You can extend that magazine to 27 rounds, give yourself a lot of ammunition. Overall, this is just a very well-rounded scout rifle. Now, I got lucky on this one. I actually got this from a legendary weapon engram from the Cryptarch. It's got Third Eye as its first perk, which really helps out in PvP. I really like this perk in PvE as well, especially when you're doing strikes or some harder in-game content. It's very easy to get flanked and get swarmed by the mobs, and this will kind of let you keep an eye on what's going on around you, so you can know if you need to move positions. You've got Lightweight, which is a great perk, and it's you get +2 character agility. This also has Quick Draw. I usually just go with Field Scout though to give myself a little bit more ammunition with 27 rounds. And you have Might of Multi-Tool. The weapon boosts your movement speed and fires on a hair trigger. That's kind of like the Outlaw perk, plus you get a little bit more agility. So it's almost like a lightweight Outlaw perk in one. Overall, does not seem like the greatest setup of perks, but like I said, it really does handle very well. You can see you can even hit fired up close. There's just a lot of good. This weapon has a lot of really strong points to it, and like I said, very good for getting those precision kills. You can get those longer range kills. You can use it at short range. I found this works well on all the strikes as a primary weapon that you can just get through a lot of content in the game with. It's just an excellent overall scout rifle, and just one of my favorite scout rifles in the game. So that is the Mida Multi-Tool, coming in at number 2 on the list. Alright guys, and here we are. We have our number 1, at least my number 1 choice. And if you guys watch any of my videos at all, you had to know which weapon I was going to pick for number 1. This is the Chance hand cannon from Future War Cult. You can actually purchase this weapon right now in the tower from the Future War Cult. It comes from the vendor with a very solid set of perks. I actually got this weapon originally before the Dark Below came out in a faction package. It was one of the first ever legendary weapons I got in a faction package, so that's probably one of the reasons I really do like it. I've been using this weapon almost since the game came out. Just love the way this hand cannon handles. It is a legendary hand cannon. It's a 3 to 4 hit kill in PvP. It's not one of your more powerful hand cannons like Thorn or the Last Word, but I just really like playing with this weapon. It really handles very well. It's got some really solid perks on it from the vendor, like I said, that really help your grenade recharge, and just overall, it's a very good weapon. I also love the way this hand cannon looks. It's got a great paint scheme on it. It looks like a hand cannon, and I say that because a lot of the hand cannons in this game are a little bit smaller. They look really small in your hands, and they just don't feel like they're that powerful when you look at them aesthetically. And that's one of the things I love about this gun, is it just looks really big and bulky in your hand. Like, it really would do some damage if you shot somebody with this. So one of the reasons I really do love the Chance hand cannon. And also because, like I said, it's a very solid performing hand cannon. Works very well from the mid-range in PvP. Works pretty well from a variety of ranges in PvE. You can reach out. You got some longer reach. If you're an accurate player, as usual with a lot of these weapons, that's going to really help you out. It's not going to be a hand cannon you're going to snipe with, but it can do some excellent work at long range, at mid range, and even up close with your hip fire if you find yourself in that kind of situation. Like I said, I bought this from Future War Cult really early on, right after Dark Below came out. This is exactly what it comes with right out of the box from the vendor. You can see you've got spray and play, increase the reload speed of this weapon when its mag is empty, which is a good perk because the reload speed on this hand cannon is a little bit slower. Perfect Balance will take your stability way up there, and then you'll just have a 6-round magazine. That's one of the reasons I have Field Scout equipped. Flared Mag will speed up that reload a little bit quicker, and then you've got Field Scout, which takes you from 6 rounds to 13. This also has Grenadier. Kills with this weapon reduce the cooldown of your grenade. If you are really good at getting precision hits with this, you can just spam grenades all day. They will recharge very quickly when you're using this hand cannon. So these are just some of the many reasons I like this weapon. This weapon I used to use this on my Titan all the time, but this seems to really work well with my Hunter because he's got the Chain of Woe and a couple other reload perks that really help. And so that way when you burn through that 13-round magazine, you can really do quite a bit of damage, and he reloads very, very quickly. So that's one of the reasons I've been using this on my Hunter instead. I found a lot of primary weapons work much better on the Hunter for some reason, and I'm guessing it's probably because all those reload perks and other perks they get. Hunters are just very strong classes, it seems, overall when it comes to certain perks, especially when you're talking about PvP. But that's a story for another day. Anyways, guys, that has been my list of my top 5 favorite weapons in Destiny in terms of the primary weapons. I'm also going to be doing one of these for the secondary and the heavy weapons as well. Unfortunately, I don't have Yaller horns, and that will not be included in my top 5 favorite heavy weapons list, but should be an interesting list either way. So let me know, guys, what are your favorite weapons that you have in the game? You know, like I said, these are not necessarily the best weapons you can get in the game. They're just my top 5 favorite that I like to use all the time. Regardless, you know, I don't like to use the flavor of the month type weapons that everybody else is always using, like Red Death and Suros Regime and Last Word and things like that. I do like to mix it up a little bit, and because quite honestly, the content in this game is really not that difficult, and you can get through it with a variety of weapons. You don't have to always use the exotics. You can even play around with a lot of different rare weapons, even when you're running some in-game strikes and other content. So, you know, experiment a little bit, find some weapons. There's some really good ones out there that you know, that you'll be surprised by. There's a lot of good rare weapons. Of course, I do my rare weapon guide, so check those out if you're looking for some of those. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this guide, or not really a guide, this my top 5 favorite weapons in Destiny. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next time.